okay. It's a week until grandma's. Definitely, like, just like I've been saying through my posts and stuff, it's hard not to feel nervous into the taper. I think you just start to question things. The fatigue of the cycle can sometimes sneak up on you, and you get these little things, knick-knack things, nothing crazy, but you just start to overthink everything because you're not having these super long runs that show you're fit enough. In these 2 weeks, you're having to trust that all the ones previously have done that. And so today I have a little kind of marathon specific style workout that is 2 miles up and then 3 times 3K at marathon pace with some recoveries in between. And so, you know, I get to feel what it feels like, but it's just nerve-wracking, and it's a real windy day, so just not super motivating, and I'm just ready to do the thing. I feel like everybody can get that feeling of I'm just ready to go do it and not live in this anxious state. So just trying to distract myself with kind of other things to think about, although your subconscious is a strong thing. And last night I had a nightmare of, for some reason, Cooper was taking me to the marathon start line, and I tell him, oh my gosh, we have to take the bus. And then we show up to the start line and kind of like hide in the people who are filing in from the bus. And then I tell him, oh my gosh, we didn't pick up my bib. And it was just this like nightmarish, like I forgot everything on the morning of, and I don't know how that happens to me, but like I think I put it off all during the day, and then when I go to sleep, my brain's like, okay, we're gonna worry about this now. And so that was not a super fun way to wake up, but it is what it is. It's getting into that, you know, trying to get calm to be able to perform well and not let these nerves take over the, you know, conscious mind. I think something that helps me for the marathon is just having a solid plan for that day, at least an outline of a plan. Obviously, you always just have to race the day that's presented to you, because with weather and it being a road race, you just never know what you're gonna run to. Like last year, having a frickin' thunderstorm that delays the race, and then having to race in 80-degree heat, and like, yeah, I just had to not panic and race that day. And I think I did a good job. It was obviously a super bummer, but you know, just having a solid guideline of a plan comforts me. So, you know, my plan is to truly take the first couple miles of the marathon to kind of, for lack of a better way of putting it, warm up, because I feel like I always do better when I don't just like go out at maybe exactly marathon pace. I know that when like I'm really going for the OTQ, the game strategy might have to change just because you're riding the line. But for right now, I have some wiggle room, and so I'm gonna take the first few miles to warm up and then really try to settle in to that marathon pace on the low end, and then go from there as the race progresses and see what I can do with what I feel that day. And for that marathon pace, my hope is 6:05 to 6:15 somewhere. Why I'm choosing that is because when I've done my long runs, my 19 mile, 20 mile, 18 mile, sub max, 90 to 95% marathon pace, I've told Cooper on those runs, I feel like I could go the whole marathon. So I know likely, pending everything goes okay, I am that or faster. But then when I've done my marathon specific work, like last weekend, when I was doing the 3K repeats, I was able to, you know, hit essentially 6:08 or less. So I think I know that unless it's an amazing day, I'm feeling great, there's, you know, maybe a tailwind where it's just my day, it's likely not that low end 6:05, if I'm being honest in my heart, but it's possible. Just, I think that if I could do, you know, 6:08 to basically 6:15, I'm gonna be really happy with my performance. Obviously, hoping that it's more toward probably what I feel like in my heart I have is like 6:10 to 6:12. And so we'll see what I can do that day. The other part of the plan is just half of the marathon or more is fueling strategy. Hardest thing to dial in. Shout out to a friend in town here for introducing me to Pop-Tarts. I feel like that's an easy thing to acquire anywhere. So it's kind of what I plan to eat the morning of the race to get that kind of good carb intake, but sit okay on my stomach. It's what I've been practicing with. It has like a good, like 60 grams of carbs, which like, that's a pretty good chunk for that morning. And then intra-race fueling, I plan to take a gel every 20 minutes. So probably end up being a total of like 7 gels. And I go 20 gram, 40 gram, 20 gram with caffeine, 40 gram, then 20 grams to the finish. So it's worked well on the stomach so far. I love the Cis gels. They're more liquidy. Would love if they would give me a sponsorship. Just kidding. But I do love the Cis gels, and I will recommend them. I have no sponsorships to them, just really love them. So that's kind of my fueling strategy for race day. Also, in regard to fueling, I know water, electrolytes are of huge conversation. Probably a hot take. Again, doesn't email me personally, but for my 1920, I have not drank any water and handled that very well. I think the gels, since they are more, they're bigger, they're more dense, they are more liquidy, like maybe that helps in my case instead of like a Genucan gel or a Honey Stinger that tend to be more compact. I'm not saying you never should. Last year at Grandma's it was really hot, so I did take water as I was thirsty, but that's how I've always treated it. Take water when I'm thirsty, and it's worked for me. So yeah, that's kind of the plan on that day. Just hoping Duluth gives me a normal marathon day this time without 80-degree weather. But it looks like right now it's at 40 degrees at the start and kind of high of 60 in the day, but probably not much above the 50s for the end of the race, hopefully. So something I haven't talked much about for Grandma's marathon, I'm in the semi-elite field, and so I get to start with the elite people. I don't get water bottles, I don't get like the other elite amenities, but my race entry fee was paid for, and I get to start basically with the women's elite corral. And I was really excited at the thought of this when I first did it. Now, I don't know, as it gets closer to the marathon, I feel like there's a comfort in just kind of like being in Corral A and kind of being with, you know, not that group, and especially knowing that, God, like, I might see, I know Dakota Poppin is running Grandma's, and to be starting in the same area as her, I just have like imposter syndrome. And I don't know, I'm just gonna try to feel like, yeah, I'm obviously not there yet, but just believing that I do belong with all the work I've put in, and trying to just not let that feeling take over, because their standards is the race standards. I've met those standards, so trying to believe that I deserve to be there. I'm trying to go in like that because I know that everybody or most people start there, so it's exciting. And yeah, I do think at the end of the day I put in the work to get to do that. So